Welcome to my film review of Rambo: Last Blood. Now this was an amazing movie. I've seen two movies today. Ad Astra earlier on. I was massively disappointed, and to be honest I wasn't really expecting much from Rambo. I'll confess I've never seen any of the Rambo films, not properly anyway, might have seen bits, but I'm probably really weird. I love action movies, but I've never seen any of the original Rambo movies. I saw the trailer at the cinema for this Rambo movie. I kind of knew straight away. I thought, oh, it's a Rambo movie. You could tell straight away. And I remember not being massively excited by the trailer either, but obviously thinking I'll go and see it, and my God was this good. Jesus, if I'd have known how good this movie was, I would have been excited and looking forward to this for a long time. So I do love action movies. I love, badass hard men characters like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've grown up with these characters and I think they're absolutely awesome. I've loved all of Rocky's movies, Sylvester Stallone's movies that I've seen him in, so there's no reason why I shouldn't have loved the Rambo series, and if this movie's anything to go by, I absolutely would. But for me, there was just so many things that I loved about this movie. It ticked so many boxes for me personally, what I'm looking for in this kind of a movie. If I was a superhero, I would spend my time as a superhero seeking out the redemption that he seeks in this movie. Let's put it that way. So this kind of movie spoke to me on a personal level, and in terms of what I wanted to happen in the movie, when a movie, you really enjoy a movie and you want it to go in a certain direction, but it never does, and it nearly does everything that you want, but then there's something that lets you down. There was only one tiny thing in this movie that I would have added that Sylvester Stallone didn't do, but I cannot nitpick about that. Otherwise, he did everything in this movie that I wanted him to do. It was almost like he was inside my head playing out the movie as I was thinking, oh, I hope this happens, and it did. It all happened. I mean, for that reason, I'm giving this baby a 10 out of 10. This is the second 10 out of 10 movie within a couple of weeks. I gave it 10 out of 10 purely on the basis that did what it said on the tin, horror. 10 out of 10. This is an action movie. It's 90 minutes long, and there's like at least 5-8 minutes at the end that isn't even movie, it's just end sequences. So this is like, an 82-minute movie of pure action, and it does not disappoint. It ticks all the boxes, and if it's an action movie that you want to see, it's an action movie that you are going to get. This is awesome. Now, bear in mind it's an 18 certificate, okay? So I've seen 18 certificates in the past where I've thought, oh, yeah, why is this an 18 certificate? I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood made me think at one point, why the hell is this an 18 certificate? But my God, does this use its 18 certificate to the max. Like, if there was a higher rating, there would be for this. This would be like an 18, caution, not just because of the flashing scenes, which you'll see advertised for people with epilepsy to be aware of, but just for the sheer horror, gruesomeness, horrific. I love it. It's perfect. Well done, Sly. This is a Balboa production, so it's done by Sylvester Stallone. He's obviously written it and had a lot to do with it, and this guy can tell a good story. This guy has not lost his skills at telling good stories. So if you've seen the trailer, like me, you might not necessarily know what the movie's going to be about, which I thought was great, because I prefer that. I don't want to know what the movie's about. I like to discover the movie as it unfolds. And this movie, in all honesty, it unfolds exactly as it suggests, Early on, you're like, okay, I get what this movie is going to be about then. And it is. But what it does is it's as horrific and grim and hard-hitting as it could possibly be. It's like he's pushed every possible scene to the max where you're like, it's kind of like you want it to be disturbing because you want to be disturbed and such, like when you go and watch a movie, but you don't always expect the director of the movie to actually push it that far, and he does. It's beautiful. 10 out of 10, Sly. You nailed it with this movie. Well done. So, not wanting to give too much about this movie away, but I don't think it necessarily matters if you know a hint of what it's about. But try and still avoid the adverts. You don't need to see the adverts. This is an action movie with Sly Stallone in. If you know that you like this kind of stuff, if you like Sylvester Stallone, you want to see this movie. It's totally worth seeing at the cinema. It's a totally date night movie. You can pay £10, you can pay whatever. This is a 10 out of 10 movie. Don't worry about how much it costs. Go and see it. Doesn't necessarily have to be IMAX or 4DX. Normal seats will do, but go and see this movie. If you want to see it on a Friday night, top price tickets, that's absolutely fine. Even though it's only on for 90 minutes, you get value for money out of this. I had such a smile on my face. It was, I was chuckling at times, but chuckling in a yes, go on Sly, that kind of thing, and laughing about how horrific. I just loved this movie. Now, the Saw movies I loved, so if you like the Saw movies and got a real kick out of the Saw movies, then you're going to really like this. It's almost like he had a word with the director of the Saw movies and, brought him on board for a few tips. It's brilliant. It's so satisfying. When you want to be freaked out and you're like, oh, perfect, well done. That's what we go to the cinema for, and it delivered. So the one thing that made me think of this movie, like I say, I've read the synopsis afterwards, and the synopsis is great as well. Feel free to read it if you want, but again, just don't worry about it. Go and see this movie without knowing what it's about. That's exactly what I did. Didn't know whether you had to be a Rambo fan, didn't know whether any of that was going to come into it. No, not at all. Doesn't matter. This works as a standalone movie. This is the movie Liam Neeson wishes he was in, okay? Remember earlier this year, Liam Neeson, Cold Pursuit, that movie that caused the big uproar? I think I gave that like a 4.5 out of 10 or something, or 5.5. I was really disappointed in it. I thought it was really disappointing. Liam Neeson is going to watch this movie and go, why couldn't I be this good? This movie was so good. Liam Neeson, eat your heart out. This is the movie you wish you could make. Well done, Sly. So, like I say, feel to read the synopsis. It doesn't give too much away, which is brilliant. I don't recall the trailer giving too much away either, which is brilliant. Well done. But like I say, don't listen to too much about this, because what I liked about this movie was the direction it kept going in. You kept thinking, surely not, and it just keeps pushing and pushing the boundaries of hard-hitting, disturbing society matters, things that happen in the world that, we probably wish we didn't know about. Well, it's kind of like, it's hard hitting, it's stuff that happens, and it's the worst. If I was a superhero, this is what I would spend my time, taking care of in this exact kind of manner. So I got a lot of kicks out of it. It was like he was living my fantasy. Sly Stallone, Rambo, in this movie, he literally lived out my fantasy, and he did nearly everything that I would have done. I've said that before, it's worth saying again. 10 out of 10. So this movie, to give you an idea of how I would like to sum it up, it reminded me of quite a few movies all packed into one. And I'm going to say at the very end. So I'll give you a warning. If you want to know the least about this, I'll say right at the very, very end. So I'll move on. So at the very end of this movie, there is a homage to all of the previous movies. So feel free to hang around for that before the credit scene goes black, and gives you all the names. It pays a tribute to all of his previous Rambo movies, which again, it made me realise, I definitely haven't seen these movies. I recognise them, I've seen bits, but I didn't recognise any of the clips. So big Rambo fans out there, I think you're going to like that. Nice homage at the end, loads of clips added together. Uses its 18 certificate to the max. It's 90 minutes, so it's hard hitting, packs a punch, gets going straight away. The first 10 minutes, it's the build up, this is who everyone is, and it was fine. I enjoyed that, and then boom, we're into the action, non-stop, brilliant all the way through. 88 minutes or 82 minutes, however long the actual movie was on for, was the perfect amount. Well done. I love a 90-minute movie every now and again that delivers this well, and this really did deliver. So that wraps up the movie. This is awesome. That's a review. This is an awesome movie. It's getting 10 out of 10. It's not ever going to get a 10 out of 10, but this movie is 10 out of 10 because it deserves to be 10 out of 10. If you want an action movie that's hard-hitting and does everything that you want it to do, it just delivers, and it's non-stop action, no holds barred. Absolutely uses its certificate of 18, does this bad boy. Brilliant. It ticks every single box. So I'm now going to reveal the 4 movies that I think this, if you like these 4 movies, you are going to adore this movie. And this is what it reminded me of. So thanks for listening. If you don't want to hear these, thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next review. But for those that don't mind, it's Law-Abiding Citizen, Taken, Saw, the Saw movies, and Home Alone. Okay, so those are the 4, and Cold Pursuit, okay? 5 if you want to include all of them. Those are the 5 movies that this reminded me of. The things that I loved in all of those movies: Law-Abiding Citizen, Taken, Saw, Home Alone, and Cold Pursuit, what it wished it was. It's all the best bits of those movies packed into this one movie, and it's awesome. Well done, Sylvester Stallone. Go out and see this movie. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I cannot wait to see it again, but I'll probably just wait to see it at home, to be honest. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Enjoy. If you love action movies, you are gonna love this. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next review. Goodbye.